Wow, thank you. First of all, how's everybody doing out there? No, I'm in the entertainment business. I said, how's everybody doing out there? Much better, that's great. Can I get a whoop, whoop? Not bad for a bunch of lawyers. I stand here humbled in the footsteps of giants and in the presence of so many people who are my personal heroes. There's too many of them here to mention, especially for me, as a college dropout, the idea of getting this award, a music business idiot, it's just, it's kind of daunting, but it's amazing. And I want to recognize some of those people. Of course, Stephen Bright, without whom none of us would be here. Stephen, what can I say? Thanks for letting me crash your party. And Richard Jaffe, a great hero of mine who has won so many death penalty cases that it's too many to count. Of course, the idea that Brian Stevenson once, roamed those halls is just something that is of tremendous meaning to me. Nina Morrison, who is, like I said, just someone who I look up to greatly from the Innocence Project. Julie Stewart, who started me in this fight, the founder of Families Against Mandatory Minimums, on whose board I still proudly serve 25 years later. Alec Katsanis. There's too many people in the room to recognize, but all of you, I salute you and your work in the trenches. And I want to recognize especially two amazing people. John Huffington is here. John was sentenced to death not once, not twice, but 4 times. He's the man you can't kill, literally. There should be a superhero named after him. And John survived 32 years in prison, much of it on death row in Maryland, and he's here tonight. Thanks to the efforts of some of the people in this room and so many other good people. And John said something to me today. Someone was asking him, he's not bitter, and how is that possible? And he said, what did he say? That's why the rear view mirror is small and the windshield is big. I was like, okay, I'll shut up now. And another person who is really just someone I respect and admire so much. Nora Jackson is here. Nora served 11 years in prison, wrongfully convicted in Tennessee. She's now family to me, and I'm so proud of her every day and everything that she's doing. So Nora, I'll see you. So this is a very difficult line of work that we're all in, more so now than ever. The failures are brutal, and the system everything is stacked against our clients, our people that we advocate for, and against us in our work. And it takes a strong constitution to keep fighting. But the successes are the richest experience that I think any of us can have, and it's why we're all here. I know for me it is, the idea that it's possible to have such a tremendous impact on a person's life who you don't know, but who is, and I learned this from my father, because my father, I can't not dedicate this award to him. My father was the great, legendary attorney Joe Flom, and he taught me so much. He was my hero and my mentor about helping the helpless, about lifting people up who can't fight for themselves anymore. And so it's in my blood. And in his honor, I would like to say that everybody here has a card on their table that has a donation form. And so I would like to offer to match anything raised tonight up to $50,000 in honor of my dad. But anyway, the fact is what was that? Somebody said something funny. Anyway, so once in a while we get a victory, and those victories tend to have an amazing ripple effect. And these little miracles that happen are what drives all of us to continue to fight. And I know that I will continue until my last breath. And I was very, I don't say lucky to be a part of one of those miracles this year. I learned about the case of Lenny Singleton from an article in the New York Times that many of you probably saw, as Ndaba, who, by the way, Ndaba, thank you for being here. It means so much, and your speech was wonderful, and I treasure your friendship. But the article in the Times, which sat on my dining room table glowing and keeping me up at night for weeks, was about Lenny Singleton, a Navy veteran who was sentenced, as Ndaba said, so eloquently, to double life plus 110 years for a series of dash and grab robberies in which no one was hurt and no weapon was used. It's mind-boggling. So he sentenced to double life plus 110 years and had served almost 23 years by the time I read this article. And I thought, this will not stand. So I figured I got to get a hold of the governor. I'm a big proponent of clemencies. I think it's, obviously they fell off for years and years, but I think that there's a better understanding now of the power that they can bring and the restorative nature of them. And I think there's more courage on the part of some politicians now, not enough, to use that power, which is their responsibility. And so I thought, maybe I can get to the good governor of Virginia. I called my friend Ginny Grenham, who's right here in the front, because she knows everyone. And I said, Ginny, do you know the governor of Virginia? She goes, of course I do. Would you like to meet him? I was like, yes, I would, and thank you. She called, and apparently he Googled me, and it didn't scare him. So Governor McAuliffe was very kind to invite me to the mansion, and we had a lovely dinner, some very good wine, as I recall, and he couldn't... Virginia wine? Well, I liked it. I'm just a New Yorker, but there may have been some cigars that were smoked. Whatever it was, we smoked... No, what, oh, sorry. I was overstepped. Anyway, we had a great night. We talked about a lot of cases. We talked about justice, and he stepped up. He sent me to see the chief counsel and others. And anyway, the governor is here tonight with Lenny Singleton, and it's only because of you that he's here. So I would like to invite you to the stage, both of you, please.
Good evening, everybody. My name, as you heard, is Lenny Singleton. Wow. I was just released June 27th, 2018. It hasn't been 4 months yet. And here I am in this room with you all tonight with Governor Terry McAuliffe and a friend, Mr. Jason Flom, who I didn't know him, and I didn't even know that article was in your vision for that long. My attorney, John Cox, who's here tonight, and the most amazing human being in my life now is my wife, Vandy Singleton, who fought so very hard to bring my situation to their attention. I just want to say tonight that, my wife and I say this: there are people that you meet in life and then there are people you're supposed to meet. That everybody who's sitting in this room tonight, we're not here by chance. I don't believe that. I believe that we were meant to meet, we're meant to be here tonight because criminal justice needs to be reformed. I sat in the prison guilty, pled guilty, told the detectives what I did, went before the judge and expressed my remorse because I went through a horrible drug addiction. And I was just so very glad to be caught. Like Brother Mandela said, I graduated from Langston University in 1990 with a degree in business and a minor in programming. And so the picture that most people have of incarcerated men, particularly black men, is one from poverty and lacking education. Well, I was one who didn't fit that bill and sat for 23 years, but I was always hopeful that this day would come, and it is here because of men like Jason Flom and Governor McAuliffe and Attorney John Cogshall and my wife, Vandy Singleton. So there's no man that I know who's more deserving of this award, in my opinion. I'm just one of many who Mr. Flom has taken time to take interest in, not even knowing me, just seeing the injustice in the situation. And then, of course, we had the best governor that Virginia's ever had, in Terry McAuliffe. There's no doubt about it. In my 51 years, he is by far the best governor that Virginia has ever had, addressing issues.
That Thomas Jefferson was a fraud.
So I'm going to get out of the way because I'm just thinking, my wife and I flew in here yesterday from the state of Utah, all the way from Utah, because we wanted to be here to support Mr. Jason Flom and the work that he's doing and the work that everybody in this room is doing. It doesn't take a lot of people, it just takes committed people. And obviously Mr. Flom is committed to this cause because he could be doing so many other things. So I'm thankful tonight to be here that you might receive this award. Thank you so much. And the governor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is he not special? Well, I too wanted to be here tonight for Jason. You know, he came down to see me at the governor's mansion, wanted to have a meeting, went about 5 hours. He brought a box of files with him, which was not what the meeting was originally supposed to be about. And then he, unfortunately for me, I gave him my email address. And
phone number.
And phone number.
It was the wine.
But I got to tell you, I love Jason Flom. That's why I wanted to be here tonight. He cares about people. He fights where the injustices have been done. And I've had a long, rich life, and I've met a lot of people. Very few of them have the commitment that Jason Flom has had to individuals. He was passionate. He was dogged. And Lenny wouldn't be here today had Jason not got in touch with me. You know, I'm proud as the governor of Virginia that I did, no surprise, more pardons than any governor in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia. As you all know, I restored more felon rights than any governor in the history of the United States of America. And I think you all who read the Washington Post know I was sued. I was taken to the Supreme Court, sued twice, sued for contempt of court for doing it. But it was about justice to me. Virginia was one of those southern states that wants to permanently disenfranchise felons, many of them African Americans. When I did that order on April 22nd of 2016, I stood in our Capitol, which was built by Jefferson. I stood on the exact spot where in 1902, a state senator by the name of Glass put it into our Constitution and said, I'm doing it this day, quote, to eliminate the darky from being a political factor in Virginia. This was Jim Crow at its worst. Well, I was proud 114 years later, new sheriff in town, and I got to restore the rights of 200,000 individuals. But none of this would have happened were not the folks like you in this room. To Jason, to John, I met several individuals who came up and said, you pardoned my client. I'm glad I was able to help you. But it's the right thing to do. But I just want to say to all of you in this room, thank you. Because this would not happen without your advocacy. You are activists for the right reasons. I can tell you as a governor, you have a general counsel who serves the governor. You have an attorney general. In every governor's office in America, there's a hesitancy to do a lot of this stuff because they say, oh my goodness, if you're going to let someone out, what happens if they go become an axe murderer? It's going to ruin your career. So it's really the outside folks who come to us with the great causes that really have made the difference. So I'm here tonight to say thank you to you. Thank you to Jason. I was honored to pardon the Norfolk Four, another case where innocent individuals. I gave a full, absolute pardon to a guy by the name of Mike McAllister, who spent his entire life in prison for a murder that he did not commit. And then it came out later, someone gave a prison confession, and you put his picture next to Mike McAllister's, identical twins. Our criminal justice system in this country, folks, is in shambles. It is a disgrace for the greatest nation on earth. I have my cousin here, Will McAuliffe, who's been after me forever on capital punishment. I have to follow the law in Virginia, Will, but we do need to end capital punishment in this country because it's wrong. So to you, Lenny, and on behalf of everybody else, and to Jason, for all of you who have done this, you have changed people's lives. But there are a lot of governors like Terry McAuliffe who want to help, who want to lean in, but we cannot do it without you. We need your expertise. We need your backing, because you give us all what we need to go make that decision. So to the Southern Center and to all of you, thank you for what you have done to change people's lives. Thank you, and God bless you.